Alright, so welcome to another tech vlog something. So what's going guys, my name is Guyver, I'm a gamer and content creator, and in this video I'm going to tell you on why the Sony A7IV or Sony Alpha A7IV is still like one of the best camera that you can buy this year. Okay, so please forgive me with all these packages, we're not gonna do any cool transition, let's just talk. So A7S3 has been the camera for video production work for video creators like myself. But to be honest, during the time that it's released, it is really quite expensive, especially where I am. Buying that camera is most likely you need to save up like a year worth of salary in the place where I am. So I opted for the next best thing, which is the Sony A7 IV. Now, Sony A7 IV is a somewhat hybrid between a photo A7R series and A7S. So this is the entry to the Alpha lineup of Sony. So what are the cons of this camera aside from, well, this one has a 32 megapixels if I'm not mistaken, while the A7S3 is 12 or 24, which is good for video. But A7 IV is also good for video. It's just that it can't shoot 4K 60 FPS without a crop. Now, most of you guys, like, that's a deal breaker, guys. I really want 4K 60 without crop. Well, as much as I want to say that's really a deal breaker, I come to, accept the fact that you can't have everything. So that's why I settled with my A7 IV, although there are quite few limitations that as a content creator and filmmaker that I struggle. So before that, the one thing that I have here right now is the NATO tap handle from Smallrig. So this is not sponsored, by the way, guys. So yeah, so this is the first accessory that we'll be building with the A7 IV. And if you haven't caught up yet, this is basically about having a handheld rig for A7 IV. Okay, so going back, 4K 60 crop is like a big deal, and if you want to go 120, you need to dial down back to what they call this 120. I mean full HD. Now, if you're going to ask me why didn't you just switch to the newer camera like this ZVE1, well, to tell you the truth, as soon as I bought my A7 IV, the ZVE1 got released. And considering that here in the Philippines, you can't just buy a camera and expect to sell it the next day with almost the same price that you bought it. You need to really dial down the price so that it will be enticing to the second-hand market. So I did not, And besides, I come to love the dual SD card. It just gives me a peace of mind. Although in my years of filming, I haven't really had the experience of the memory card being corrupted when I need it. So yeah, 4K 60. It also has an HEVC codec, and it basically has all the good thing from A7S3 aside from that you can't shoot 4K 60 and other stuff. So yeah, is it a bad thing? For me, honestly, no. I mainly shoot with a 24mm. I mainly shoot with a 24mm lens, wherein I usually go to cosplay conventions and other type of events. And it's really my go-to because 24, it's not the best 24mm. If I am given the chance, I would rather get the Sony GM lens or the G lens for 24. But this is the best that I could do, especially if you're in a budget like me and as a hobbyist. So yeah, 4K 60 with the crop, it will end up you in the ballpark of 30, 35, 36 millimeters focal length with the crop. But again, you just really need to be creative about it. And the next item that we are having would be the handle from Smallrig. This is not the usual handle because as you can see, it is thick. You can really grip it like this compared to the other ones, but this one is quite expensive. And by the way, guys, the price will be down below. So yeah, I opted to choose this because I really want to have comfort, especially if I'm going to be shooting for hours and having that small, it's really not tiny, but without the proper grip, I'm not sure if I can last long. Okay, so right now we have the tap handle, the side grip, and etc. I'm just gonna put the scissors here. Okay, so as I was saying, you can compensate that by buying a a wider lens. Like if you can buy a 16 to 35 of the GM, you're gonna have an equivalent of 24 to 50, which is not bad. But what I'm thinking to make this camera a beast is to actually get the 28 to 70 of the contemporary lens of Sigma, because as far as I can tell, that's really light. It doesn't really bother me if it's not that sharp as the art lens. Like the sharpness can be post-processed, and basically speaking, you really need to pixel peak for you to notice that. Okay, the next set would be a digital battery from Beston, and both are going to be used. This one is the NPF Z100, which is for the camera. I just thought that having 3 batteries will be extremely helpful. And this one is the NPF 750. This will go to my newly acquired Feelworld monitor, which I will be creating a video very, very soon. Okay, so this one. So yeah, going back, you know, if you're going to think about it, having the Sony A7IV with being cautious of its limitation can really give you a good insight. By the way, this one is also good at low light situation. If you have seen or been in the filming industry, you will know that having too many pixels in camera might result to a noisy footage. That's actually wrong, because this one has a dual native ISO, the same with A7S III. And there are some tests in the internet and the YouTube that actually says that this one is much cleaner than A7S III. I'm not saying that it performs really way better, but in low light situation, some footage ends up being much cleaner than A7S III, regardless of what people claim. So I'm just gonna believe in that. So that's why, well, A7IV is still good. Okay, fourth item, I think, is this is the first time that I bought the KNF filter. And this is the variable ND2 to 400. It is a 9 stops lens, if I'm not mistaken, 9 stops. And the HDMI cable from Smallrig. I could have bought any other, HDMI cable, but I really need a, trustworthy. So I bought the cable rig. Okay. So most of the things that you're seeing, I will be having a somewhat dedicated video about it, because we can't fit everything by a short sitting vlog. And I think we're already reached the 5-minute mark. So moving on. Okay. Oh my god! Oh my god, guys! Holy crap! Can you guys see this? Yes, it's a cage, but there's a story behind this. So basically, as I was looking for cages, I'm opted to use a full Smallrig setup. But I was like, the Tilta one is very, very cool. And it has a slick, and you don't need to add NATO railings on it. So it's more likely saving up in the future. So basically, if you're going to buy a Tilta rig, this cage specifically, you will be, spending like $60 to $70 probably. And that is right around 5,000 pesos here in the Philippines. Okay, so I found one, which is a cheaper one, and it says open. It mentioned that it's secondhand, and I was like, I'm not really particular against buying secondhand, because in my entire life I've been selling secondhands and buy and sell things. Now, I'm expecting this to come in a box like this one, just like a Smallrig, or just without any cover at all, because I'm under the impression that it is secondhand. So I'm also quite, expecting it not to be in a box and just be in a bubble wrap. Now, look at this one. Do you think that this is a second-hand Tilta cage rig? For me, no. It is quite sealed. Now, of course, you can reseal an item, but it has the everything, like the sticker, the serial number and stuff, and it's really resealed well. I'm gonna make another video about this one, and we're going to open it but look at that. it doesn't look secondhand at all. And if I'm going to be honest, I probably have only spent around $40 for a second or opened Tilta rig. You know what? It could have been opened but not used. So that's why it is in this great condition. Wow, that's like a bargain. Anyway, so moving back, here are all the things that I've bought. And if you're going to ask me, why did you suddenly want to go handheld? To be honest, I'll be attending a music festival here in the Philippines. It's one of the most unique concept and biggest. It's called the Howlers Music Festival, Music and Cosplay Festival. And me being a cosplay videographer, it is quite enticing, but it is also because there is a dream that I really want to do and produce an after movie type of film about music festival. So if you have seen like Ultra Music Festival, Tomorrowland, EDC, they always have this compilation of footage that makes people hyped up for the next year. And that's what I want to do, an after movie for this one. Because as you may know, as I am an otaku, neat, gamer, you know, all the nerdy stuff, I'm still a filmmaker at heart. And I know that I want to do it right now before anything happens. I just want to cross that out in my bucket list, and that's why I'm making this video. And I'll be shooting mainly with this A7IV and 24mm Viltrox. Now, I could opt for a zoom lens, but I'm on a budget. I can't spend any more for my camera this year, and I just really want to try to level up my filmmaking skills by not relying too much on a gimbal. So for the whole event, I'll be shooting handheld. So that's it. And that's also why A7IV is still like one of the best camera that you can purchase. There's a lot more videos that we can talk about regarding this. I might do another one, a much more in-depth, but that's it. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this sitting vlog, and I'll be seeing you guys to the next one. Peace. Bye-bye.